Hello guys, Furball the Hammy, your friendly neighborhood hamster, is back again for another Hypixel Skyblock video. And in today's video, I will be talking about the long-awaited video for the release of my mod folder, texture packs, and my dungeon builds for floor 5, 6, and 7, as well as my recommendations. However, before we begin with this video, be sure to smash the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet, because at 30,000 subscribers, which I'm very close to, I will be releasing 250 floor 7s and 1000 tier 5 revenants when it is out. And without further ado, I shall not bore you, let's begin with the video. Firstly, let's talk about mods. I use Skyblock Extras and used to use Skyblock Addons Beta. I don't use Skyblock Addons Beta now because for some reason it has the tendency to make me crash randomly on floor 7 for a reason which I don't know. Anyways, if you don't have trouble crashing with Skyblock Addons Beta, I recommend using it because unlike Skyblock Extras, it shows the map with the heads of all players instead of the blue dots on the map, which is useful for knowing who to spirit leap to if they need help clearing rooms on their side, and also very useful for exposing the clowns who skip puzzles or traps. I also use Skyblock Extras because of the Blaze and the 3-man riddle mods, which shows me which blaze or chest to open, which saves me a lot of time to maximize my speed in dungeons. Also, for those heroic adventurers who dare to traverse the floor 7 dungeon, Skyblock Extras also helps with the terminals in phase 3, where it tells you the colors and the items to click to speed up your phase 3 in Necron's boss fight. Skyblock Extras is however a paid mod for $5, and for those who are unwilling to fork out $5 for a mod just to speed up their dungeon runs, there are alternative options such as the Dankers Mod and the Dungeon Utilities Mod, which basically do the same thing as Skyblock Extras. And now moving on to texture packs. I use Furfsky Reborn Overlay and TimeDeo Revamp 2K. I have been using the old Furfsky texture pack, so if you're wondering why some of my textures in my older videos are not textured, but yeah, I now use Furfsky Reborn Overlay along with TimeDeo Revamp 2K. Links to the texture packs are in the descriptions down below. And lastly, the one most of you guys are probably interested to know, my dungeon builds for floor 5, 6, and 7. Back then in the old days when your hamster here was still a noob at dungeons, my build for floor 5 was Shadow Goggles, 5-star Wise Dragon Armor, 5-star Spirit Sceptre, 5 stars Frozen Scythe, the Voodoo Doll, and the level 100 sheet pad holding textbook. Now, for those out there who are starting dungeons and doing floor 5, you can honestly get by and beat floor 5 consistently as mages with just a 5-star Spirit Sceptre and a Voodoo Doll with legendary Zombie Soldier Chestplate, Leggings, which won't even cost you 1 mil today, along with Necromancer Boots or Reforged on Necrotic with Dark or Shadow Goggles. And this will be modded enough for you to beat floor 5 consistently. My main set for floor 6 was Shadow Goggles, 5-star Necromancer Chestplate and Leggings, 5-star Tier 12 Perfect Boots, 5-star Spirit Sceptre, 5-star Midas Staff, and an Ice Spray Wand. And for the boss fight in floor 6, I used 5-star Superior Dragon Armor and a Livid Dagger, along with a level 100 sheet pad holding Dwarf Turtle Shellmet and a legendary Griffin pad also holding Dwarf Turtle Shellmet for the boss phase in floor 6. 5-star Tier 12 Perfect Boots have more EHP than Necromancer Boots, fun fact, but requires Catacombs 30 to use. And for those out there who are trying out floor 6 who want my recommendation, I recommend just Goggles, Necromancer Leggings, Boots, and a super heavy chestplate with Spirit Sceptre, Voodoo Doll, and a Livid Dagger for the boss phase to left click lifesteal for terracottas during the boss phase in order to make sure that you don't die randomly, because yeah, mages right click abilities don't have lifesteal, so I do recommend bringing in a Livid Dagger just to get lifesteal for the terracotta phase, especially if you don't have a healer. And just a sheet pad will do, you don't need to go fancy with a Griffin pad or a Dragon pad. This is just my recommendation for surviving floor 6, it will not give you the fastest and the best build for floor 6 because I do know most of you guys are on a budget. And last but not least, for floor 7, the one that we all have been waiting for, it's honestly a complicated build because my floor 7 builds has a lot of personal customization and choices added on it. So for dungeon clearing, I use Wither Goggles, Storm Chestplate, Storm Leggings, and Spirit Boots, along with a 5-star Hyperion and an Ice Spray Wand. On top of that, I use a level 100 Black Cat for dungeon clearing. For phase 1, 2 and 3 of the Necron's boss fight, I use Bonzo Mask, Storm Chestplate, Storm Leggings, Spirit Boots, 5-star Hyperion and an Ice Spray Wand, and I use a level 100 Whale Pet for the first 3 phases. And in the last phase of the boss fight, I use Wither Goggles, Storm Chestplate, Storm Leggings, Spirit Boots, 5-star Hyperion, Ice Spray Wand, along with a Whale or a Wither Skeleton Pet depending on how sweaty I am, because yeah, the Wither Skeleton Pet does the most damage to Necron for mages as far as I know. So first let me explain why did I ditch my sheep for a Black Cat. Mainly it's because of speed, because Black Cat essentially gives you an extra 125% speed, which makes it very convenient for finding secrets without stopping once every 30 seconds to spam my Rogue Sword for speed. I also use Spirit Boots throughout the entire dungeon because of the extra 120% speed I get from Spirit Boots in dungeons, and with the Black Cat I get an extra 245% speed in dungeons, which is honestly pretty insane and fast for speed and secret finding. However, please don't use my build because I use it. It's not the best for survivability or damage, it's mainly for secret finding and basic room clearing. Because that's the role I play most of the time, mostly finding secrets and puzzles along with clearing a few rooms. And for Bonzo Mask on phase 1, 2 and 3 is because it gives more EHP than Wither Goggles, and the initial drop into phase 2 can sometimes be instant death, which Bonzo Mask can save you from. I do recommend this build for those mages out there who are dying in Necron's boss fight, because with this build, you can get 800,000 to 1.1 million EHP in Necron's boss fight, and even with a revivability perk. If you can honestly die with this build I use for Necron's boss fight, I will be very amazed. And last but not least, for phase 4, it's mainly about damage and less survivability to burst Necron down. So I opt to use the Wither Skeleton Pet and the Wither Goggles instead because I want to maximize my DPS. And for those who want to beat floor 7 for completion and survive it, I recommend Shadow or Wither Goggles along with a Bonzo Mask for boss. Just swap the helmet when you're going into boss. Necromancer Chestplate or 5-star Perfect Chestplate with Necromancer Leggings as well as Spirit Boots and Necromancer Boots. Whale or Sheep Pet or both, along with a Spirit Sceptre, Yeti or Midas Staff, and an Ice Spray Wand, which is not necessary but very nice to have. And that's basically it for my floor 7 recommendations for mage. And for those who are wondering about my floor 7 tank build which I played for the first 1 to 2 weeks of floor 7, I used 3/4 Necromancer armor with a gold or helmet, with a Flower of Truth, Livid Dagger, Ice Spray Wand, and the legendary Griffin pet for regular dungeon for damage, and the legendary Whale pet for the Necron's boss fight. And that's basically it for all of my dungeon builds that I personally use and I will recommend, along with all of my texture packs and all of my mods that I use. And yeah, I do hope this video helped you guys to respond to all of the questions I get every single day about what mods I use, what texture pack I use, what builds I recommend. And yeah, I hope this video helped. If it did, be sure to leave a like and to subscribe. And this is Furfsky the Hammy, your dungeon maniac, signing out. Be sure to do your daily dungeons.